Hello, welcome to the video. My name is Charles, and what I'm going to share with you today is the 5 things that have helped me to easily maintain the 40 pounds that I lost 6 years ago. And I'm pretty lean. Well, new tattoo, look at that. Yeah, it's been easy for me, and there's things that have been super key in order to do that. So let's get into them in this video. By the way, little side quest here, I struggled with my weight for most of a decade, and I would always like lose and then gain the weight back. So this is coming from someone who really struggled to find something that felt sustainable. I can't tell you and stress this enough that if I can do this, because I'm a lazy son of a gun, if I can do this, then you can too. It is possible. And by the way, we are moving, which is why we have all these boxes here. I'm in denial. We have a new house that we're trying to build. This house is all but sold. And then I'm also going to America in like 14 days time. So there's a lot to do. And I'm really hungry. I need to prep some food. But let's get into it. And if you are trying to lose weight and do it in a sustainable way where you can keep it off, please just put a little heart, let's put a little something in the comments. Tell me your story, because I would love to know and learn a little bit more about you. Without further ado, let's go. Okay, so real quick, before we get into what these 5 things are, I'm gonna share with you why they work. And these work because they have created a new normal for me. So I don't feel like these require any effort. And when I say a new normal, I'm meaning something that you can conceivably do for the rest of your life. What does that mean? It means that you do something that even if it feels foreign to you today, it is something that you could do forever. Here's an example of what that does look like and then what that doesn't look like. So something that you could conceivably do forever is get up at 6 a.m., even if you don't do it right now, even if that's a stretch, like you could do that. You could get up at 6 a.m. and go and work out at the gym 3 days a week for the rest of your life. Lots of people do that. I do that now. It's not all that difficult, even if it feels difficult for you in this moment. Something that is not conceivable for you to do for the rest of your life is to get up at 4 a.m. 6 days a week and work out for 4 hours, which is what some people do when they're trying to lose weight. Something like 75 hard, for example, where you're working out twice a day. There's no way that you're going to continue that habit long term. Therefore, if you start by trying to build that, you are setting yourself up for failure because it's never going to become your new normal. So our consistent routines that are going to maintain our weight loss, if that's important to you, have to be things that from the very beginning you could do forever. Otherwise, you're going to lose weight doing something, and then you're going to go back to your old habits, which means that you're going to gain all that weight back. And if you want to maintain long term and you want to ditch a dieting cycle and you want to get lean and you want to stay there without having a ton of effort, then you're going to have to build routines and habits. That's just the way that it is. You don't just lose it all with a lot of effort and time and intensity and then expect to maintain that because your habits don't support it. Whatever result you want is just a latent measure of your consistent daily habits. So we're going to focus on habit change, nothing else. Deal? Deal. Okay, let's go. Yes, I get distracted by my nails. I get them this color because they glow in the dark, and I can do like a rave for my kids every single night. So the first habit that I created is to have my food ready with a rolling prep system. This means that my core meals, what I eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, is pretty much always consistent, and I always have those ingredients ready to go so that I can make meals quickly. I need to be able to make a filling meal that is in a weight loss zone or maintenance, which are kind of the same thing once you get to the point that I am, because you just need less calories at this point, which is another reason that it's really important that you do something that you can actually conceivably do long term, because you're just going to need less calories and then you're going to have to eat less for the rest of your life. And I know that is scary for some people, but that's just the way that it is. That's how thermodynamics and physics work. Smaller unit needs less energy. So I want to have food ready that's easy and quick and I like. Otherwise, I'm going to revert to takeout. If it takes me 4 hours to prep on a Sunday, and that's not really something that I want to do for the rest of my life, which, spoiler alert, most people won't, then I'm not actually setting myself up for success because I couldn't conceivably do that forever. So what I do instead is think about my core components, and then I just prep those as I run out. And those are just my starches, so things like potatoes, rice, beans, the bulk of my meals, and then my protein source, which is just always going to be tofu for me personally because that's what I enjoy, and then my vegetables. And I'm always going to make a weight loss friendly meal when I have those 3 things. So let's prep up our starches and then we'll go from there. All right, well, let's cook up some sweet potato, and I just always have this like ready and prepped. And then I also want to do some boiled potatoes because I have been absolutely loving having these with some like nutritional yeast and some vegeta stock. And so I just boil them, these tiny little golden, they're called like little diggers, like tiny little new potatoes. And then I have this like hyperfixation meal that I've been making that I absolutely love. So I'm going to show you that. But like in terms of starches, for me, rolling prep is all about having those potato sauces and then also having my tofu. And once I've done that, I'm kind of golden. I can kind of go from there because these take the longest to cook. So I don't want to be in an environment where I don't have those ready. And if I'm really hungry, I can't make up a meal quickly, or if I need to leave the house, put a salad together, that I don't have the opportunity. So always, 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 if you're gonna take anything away from this, always, always have potatoes ready, sweet potatoes ready in your fridge at all times. As soon as you run out, prep some more. Okay, so I've got all these creamer here and I'm gonna just cook this plain. I'm not gonna put any salt on it because I may wanna make some kind of like dessert with it. It's unlikely, I might. So I'm gonna cook it plain at like 200 degrees Celsius for about like an hour until they're like really soft. But these like perfect. I like to rip into bags like a tiny little rat. I'm gonna salt the water because it just makes things taste a million times better. Kumara. Okay, look at this. There is so much tofu in here. Tofu, tofu, tofu. More tofu prepped up. So now that the starters are cooking, I'm gonna prep some tofu. I already have my Nucci tofu inside of the fridge. You saw it there. And that's kind of like what I always have ready. But I have this new hyperfixation tofu that I am like flippin' obsessed with. It's like this crispy gochujang grated tofu. And I'm gonna prep up a whole batch of that because I have this meal that I like love right now. And I wanna make that today for lunch. So just always have tofu ready to go. But you could also have beans, that would be fine. Really any kind of protein source is fine. I love this like firm tofu, by the way. Okay, this is like a bonus tidbit. I've got like noise cancelling on right now, and this is like my absolute like hyperfixation song right now. Side quest, but if you can stack something that you don't love with something that you really enjoy, like watching a movie while you're on the treadmill or listening to your favorite song while you're meal prepping, you're so much more likely to form a habit doing that because your brain is giving you dopamine and confirming that as a positive behavior. This song is so freaking good. Go give it a listen. Gochujang, garlic, maple syrup, and then soy sauce. Just want this to get kind of crispy, so we're gonna cook it down for a little bit. No one needs a bit more. Squishy. Not yet. It needs to be way more squishy.
I will still require your detailed eye to go through and
my filter of like I don't want
filter.
anything and I want to be like essentially camping and everyone just has one fork that they like share amongst themselves.
I'm
and
not
like that?
going to have just one fork though.
We'll see about that.
I want many forks.
Okay, so tell me how you're packing then.
I'm just getting rid of stuff that I feel that we'd probably never ever use again, and
Okay.
if we did need to use them again, we'd just go buy.
Yeah, because we're moving to America in May, which is like 5 months from now. Is it? I don't know time.
Yeah.
And because we're also moving, our thought process is we really only want to bring stuff to our new house that we're going to have, that we need between now and America, because we're not really bringing anything with us, are we? We're going to bring some skateboards.
If that.
We're going to do skateboards, computers, like
that.
records.
It's
Right?
nice to know that records are in there.
Yeah.
My small little thing.
Okay, so the last piece of like a good prep system is that you always want to have your vegetables ready to go. And so like right now for me, veggies are very seasonal in New Zealand. So normally broccoli is like a core vegetable. And when I say always have these prepped and ready to go, you either want to have it so that you have like bags of frozen vegetables where you can get it in 5 minutes, you can cook it up. Or you want to have your favorite raw vegetables like capsicum, cucumber, snap peas, baby carrots, something where you've already got that ready. It's really only going to take you like a couple of minutes to assemble it. I use a broccoli steamer, which I really, really love, and it means that I can cook up a head of broccoli in about like 5-6 minutes. But right now, cucumber is in season, zucchini is in season. So I'm going to show you my fridge where you can see how many vegetables I have, and the kind of rule that you want to go for in terms of like a habit is to buy about a pound of vegetables for every single day that is going to be for you specifically. This is not what you're going to cook recipes with. This is just going to be a side for you, okay? For you specifically, if you're trying to lose weight. This is what I do right now. I eat a pound of vegetables every single day that are over and above what are in my recipes. So like a head of broccoli for lunch and then a head of broccoli for dinner. That's kind of the vibe. But right now it's going to be cucumber because I have just so much. Like, take a look at this. Loads of lettuce. So much kale in here, like this massive bag of kale. And then I also have tons of zucchini, tons of carrot, and I have my tofu like prepped up, ready to go. And then like, how many capsicums are there? I mean cucumbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then also like broccoli, so and cabbage in there. So just loads and loads of veggies all the time. Most of my fridge actually is vegetables in there. The potatoes are cooked, the kumara is cooking, and the tofu is nearly done. I'm going to bring this all together to the second habit, which has been the most impactful, and that is every single damn day I eat a 50-50 plate, and I eat a buttload of vegetables. So like I said, I aim for a pound every single day. And so because my things are now ready, I'm going to show you what I'm going to eat, and this is going to be my lunch. So let's do that. Just put our potatoes into our container, ready for the week. Okay, and I'm going to put a few of these in the air fryer because I want to crisp them up. So again, imagine that these are prepped, because they are. I'm coming along. I need to make a weight loss meal in 5 minutes. Oh no, look at the time. Let me quickly make a weight loss meal. Nutritional yeast, veggie stock. Just a few in there. Maybe like 6 minutes. Okay, so even now as I'm doing this, like it's starting to crisp up, but even as I'm doing this, I'm thinking this actually would work really well on a tray in the oven, and that would be probably quicker and easier. It's just because I wanted to cook so much of it, so I'll probably do that next time. But I just love this tofu so much. So this right here is about half a pound of veggies. I'm going to use this. So I just do like basically half a pound of veggies at lunch and dinner. I'm going to use some greens. I always use greens, but I just don't really count them towards my like pound of vegetables because they're just basically so light. Like I would have to eat all of this to eat half a pound, and I'm not going to do that. Alright, well, let's assemble this for a huge plate. Alright, so the sweet potato is all ready, and I just make sure it passes like the squish test. Like super squishy, because that's when it tastes the best. Okay, so this is now, you can see it's gotten kind of like crispy, and it's taken like quite a long time, but this is like great. So I'm gonna save this for tomorrow. And then potatoes. And then I've got avocado here. I'm just gonna get a quarter of this, pretty small one. More soy sauce on my salad and a few sesame seeds. Alright, so let's eat this beautiful bowl of goodness. I love this because it's essentially a sushi bowl. Well, it's a component bowl that is kind of like a sushi bowl, but it has these crispy potatoes. Like, check that out. Like the crispiness on that. There's just something about the nutritional yeast with the freshness of the cucumber, the soy sauce, and then that gochujang tofu in there. By the way, if you want to know the exact framework that I use to put together a weight loss meal like this, then I have a free course for you. It's actually a community/course which has over 7,000 women in it now. It's an incredibly supportive place, 100% free. So if you want to learn this and these frameworks, then join me and my bestie Amy, who you might know as Broccoli Mum, inside of that community. I'm going to put the link in the description. My goal with my free content is always to create, hopefully, more value than what most people have paid for. This is what I try to do with my podcasts and in this community as well. And we've had so many women see some like amazing results just even in like the couple of weeks that they've been in there. So go check that out. All right, let's eat. I can't like this. Freaking good. All prepped up and ready to go. Okay, so those are the really practical habits, but there's been 3 more that have been very instrumental to me maintaining my weight. And this third one is going to trigger some people, and that is to weigh yourself daily. Now, the reason that this is so beneficial is that it's just really test and data, that there are so many studies that look at whether someone weighs themselves daily or whether they don't, and that if you do, you are more likely to maintain your weight. So there's no negative consequences to this. There is no negative health consequences to this in terms of mental health. This has been studied and looked at. So even if it feels triggering for you, objectively, it's actually positive. And the thing that I love most about daily weighing is that I learn my own fluctuations. So I get to see how my body's weight like fluctuates over time, whether I'm at different parts of my cycle, whether I've had a salty meal the night before, whether I have like worked out really hard and I've got more inflammation in my muscles and things like that. The number on the scales becomes just data. It doesn't become tied to you as a person. And because you are weighing daily, you're able to see this downward trend where there is highs and there are lows, but over the course of months, you're looking at a consistent downward that looks a bit like this. And you're able to see and take an average of your weight loss rather than going, which is what a lot of people do, I'm going to weigh myself on the first of the month, and then I'm going to weigh myself on the end of the month or a week later, and then I have some random high that makes me think that I've made no progress at all, and then I throw in the towel. Okay, so I have a one-on-one coaching program, Lean Off Plants, and we consistently see like our best members who get the most results, like Chelsea, who has lost over 50 pounds now. They have these like beautiful downward trends, but overall, day to day, it kind of looks a bit like this. And this is kind of like a little side quest, but for those who don't maybe want to do something like one-on-one coaching, or maybe it's like just not in your wheelhouse right now, I just launched a community with Amy, Broccoli Mum, which includes my entire weight loss course and exclusive content from Amy and myself. And I just posted in there this week about why weight fluctuates so much. And there was a lot of people in the community that said that it was so helpful because we all feel scared at some point of the scales. You're not alone if you do, but when you learn to interpret it well, it is a massive accountability tool. So I still do it to this day. And if you want to check out that community, I'm putting a lot of links today. One's free, one's not. Go check that out in the description. The fourth thing is to create an environment that forces you to change rather than trying to use like a ton of willpower. So we've prepped up a whole lot of veggies that are like ready to go. We've got our starches. And so it's going to make it much easier to make that 5-minute weight loss bowl, that component meal, like we talked about. It was so delicious, by the way. It's like I'm still dreaming about it. And James Clear says that environment is the hidden hand that shapes behavior. We don't need to create more willpower and discipline. We just need to create an environment that forces change upon us. So if you can make a meal very quickly because you have your core components. If you look in your fridge and there's no cake there, like my fridge, like there's no cake, there's nothing in there. If you're able to look in the freezer and there's nothing that tempts you. So my husband has things like magnums and stuff like that, but this doesn't really tempt me, so I don't eat it. But if it did, I wouldn't have it in here. Or another thing that I do is just like put my treats up on a high shelf where I can't see them. Like I don't have cookies on my counter. Instead, I have fruit that I want to grab. Peaches and apricots and oranges, things that I can go and visibly see that make me want to actually eat them. My pantry, like there's not really, I have like these creatine gummies, which are kind of like lollies to me. And then if we have treats, we put them up there. And then I also have some kind of like, this for me is like a Whole Foods kind of treat, which I really enjoy. The fifth thing is I think the most important when it comes to long term. I'm looking up on my wall right now because I have this up here. And that is a concept of fail fast, fail forward. What this means to me is that I use failure as data rather than a trigger to feel bad about myself, and then that leading to some kind of binging or giving up entirely. Because what does failure teach me? It teaches me that I need to change something in my system. Maybe I need to prep more. Maybe I need to put an alarm on my phone so that I can remember. Maybe I need to make my environment easier for me, so I remove the magnums or I remove the chips. What does the scales tell me? If it goes up, maybe I have been slipping in my habits. And this is vastly different for me because I used to see any failure as like a real blight on like my character and my value as a human being. Now I can truly tell you that even when I fail quite big, and I have, not just in food, but in like many things in my business, in my personal life, I'm like constantly mucking stuff up all the time. I'm able to look at that almost like someone observing an animal in the wild, where I'm like, that's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting that they did that. But what can it teach me? What can I learn from that? And then I adjust, and that failure becomes a learning experience. So I actually grow from it. And there's another concept I love, which ties into this, that there are 4 stages of learning. And the first one is incompetent incompetence. Like, you don't even know that you're incompetent. The second stage of learning is competent incompetence, where you realize that you kind of suck. And then from conscious incompetence, you move to conscious competence, where you're having to put effort in, but you're able to be competent. And then you move to unconscious competence, where you just are so ingrained that you don't even have to think about it. And the conscious incompetent and the unconscious competence that I have today to be able to maintain my weight loss after 6 years and have 1000% confidence that I'm going to keep it off is because I, at some point in the middle of my journey, or in the beginning, had to go from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence, which means that I had to be confronted that I was failing. So don't give up, and use failure as something that is really positive for you and that can help you to keep moving forward. Well, that's it for me today. Let me know in the comments which of these 5 things you are going to implement, or that you are currently implementing. That is having a consistent prep system, is eating a load of veggies, 1 pound a day, it is daily weighing, it is setting up your environment to succeed, and it is adopting a fail fast, fail forward ideology. I'll see you next week for another video, and if you want to check out the communities that we have, then have a look in the description, and I think you're going to really like them. Whether you join the free community and you learn how to build a weight loss plate, or you want to come and join us where we go a whole lot deeper inside of lean. All right, bye. I'm going to go finish my lunch. It was delish.